Hi, my name is Rick Lawrence. I've been editor of Group Magazine for 23 years, and I help lead our Simply Youth Ministry Conference that'll be in Chicago this coming year. Kevin's asked me to talk a little bit about soul care in youth ministry, and so I just like to share a story. It must be 5 years ago now, my wife has a chronic lung disease, and its primary symptom is chronic fatigue. So I have two little girls and a really busy job and a lot of responsibility, and a wife who is constantly tired and unable really to help with the normal things of our life. And about 5 years ago, she was not feeling well, stayed in bed on a Saturday morning. She was supposed to take our kids to the birthday party, and she couldn't get out of bed. And I was so drained and so thin and so empty inside that the fact that she couldn't take the kids to this party meant that I couldn't get this last bit of work that I had to get done that day done. So I was just furious inside, and I did what I've never do. I took my computer bag and put it on my shoulder and got the kids all strapped into the car. And inside I was just so frustrated, and I was so frustrated that I was distracted, and I was going into our garage that has 2 steps down to the garage, and I forgot that there were steps. And so I just walked into the garage as if it was flat, and I fell, one of those where you just fall on your ankle and it just buckles. It was so painful. I dropped the hot latte I had in my hand, my computer hit the concrete floor. And all this frustration, all the pain that I felt in that moment, I just let loose and I just screamed. And in an empty garage, it acts like an amplifier. So all of the neighbors heard me screaming, and our new neighbors who had just moved in and I hadn't even met yet came running over to find out what had happened, and they saw me pounding the floor in our garage. And they said, "What happened? What happened?" And right at that moment, my wife appeared at the garage door in her robe and said the same thing, "What happened?" And then she looked up and saw the new neighbors. And she kind of went, "Hi." So the neighbors graciously offered to take our kids to the birthday party. My wife helped me get back inside and into a chair. And then she left because I was so cranky that she didn't even want to be around me. And while I was sitting in that chair, I was just fuming, kind of inwardly shaking my fist at God. And it was one of those moments where I heard God's voice so clearly. He said to me, "I pulled the trigger, Rick." That didn't mean that he tripped me going in the garage. It meant that he cared about me enough to stop me in my tracks. So in the midst of my pain, and I heard him speak this to me, I just started crying. Out of this experience, which was a tipping point in my life really, a friend of mine on our church's staff offered to pay to have me go down once a month to a retreat center in Colorado Springs, which is an hour away from my home, and spend a day away with the Lord every month. They offered that to all staff members at our church and all elders. I wasn't even an elder yet. I have since become an elder, but at the time he invited me, I wasn't, and I took him up on it. And so since then, every month I go down and I spend an entire day in silence with the Lord. And every year I take 3 or 4 days and I go to a Trappist monastery in the mountains here in Colorado just to be silent and alone with the Lord. And what it's done is created a rhythm in my life that my soul can relax, so that no matter how busy I am, I know that I'm going to have a regular time away alone with the Lord. So when I think of soul care, for me, it means intimate time with Jesus. And it doesn't have to be epic, like going away for a silent day alone with the Lord every month or every year. Those moments of silence can happen throughout the day. But I think you'd be hard-pressed to find too many people who are able to care for their soul and refresh themselves in the presence of God, who don't find time to be quiet and silent and alone. So I encourage you, whatever pattern that you need to establish in your life, a pattern of silence and solitude and aloneness, even if it's 5 minutes, that you're fooling yourself if you think you can get by without it. I know I did. I thought I could make it on my gifts alone, and the truth is, God cares more about me than what I can accomplish for him. So I encourage you, find a pattern in your life that gives you time to be alone, silent, and in solitude.